Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Power Nap Live. It is Sunday again, y'all. And you know what Sundays mean. Sundays means that we're here with you all for Power Nap Live. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. K.
Hello, hello.
I'm excited for us to chat today. How are you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain.
Can't complain. I mean, you could, but you're choosing not to. Is that what's up?
Yeah, I never complain. It's no rewards in complaining.
Ooh.
So yeah, I try to dwell where I can receive rewards and blessings. So yeah.
Mm. Speaking about dwelling where you receive, this week, I was like, ooh, I got to talk to Dr. K about this because this is something we would just talk about normally anyway. So speaking about that, this week, I skipped an event that I was supposed to go to, right? I had my outfit on. She was looking cute. I even had a little bit of makeup on from earlier that day. So all I had to do was hit the refresh button. You know what I'm saying? I had the invite. But what I didn't have was the energy to perform for people who were not, when I knew there were people in the space who weren't going to pour back into me. Does that make sense?
Uh,
There were some people
yeah.
there who might have, right? It would have been good to see some of the people who were there, but I knew 100% that there were a few people, that I had interactions with earlier this year that would not have poured back into me. And so I made a conscious decision not to go. I sat there and I said, that's, yeah, even though I kind of want to go, I'm not going to go. And instead, I did some things that I needed to work on, right? Which lended to me having, hi, coach, lended to me being able to then have dinner. Well, it was going to be with a friend, but it ended up being dinner with my husband. So I had time this weekend because of that conscious decision. So I wanted us to talk about that today because that's usually what a lot of people talk to us about, right? Like not having the ability to be able to choose. So I want you to share with me maybe a little bit about a time where you've chosen rest, right? Or at least being in a space that poured into you over the performativeness, right? If that's a word, of just being somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Um, a lot of examples come to mind. Let's see. I think uh, anytime I'm asked to speak somewhere, my my first thought is, oh wow, someone thought enough of me to want to come and speak, right? And then it becomes for me, oh wow, I got to put something together to talk about. And as someone who operates as much as I can in the spirit, no matter what presentation I put together, when I arrive, something will shift the atmosphere and it will change the presentation. So I always have to be ready, right?
Mhm.
And so something some people may know about me, may not. I wait to the absolute last minute to put presentations together. And it works well for me because from the moment I'm asked to do something, my ideas start flooding. And then God has a very kind way to prepare me for the room that He will place me in, right?
Mm.
And so whether it's months, weeks, whatever the time is, He's instilling stuff in me not knowing it's for this presentation. Because in my mind, I've already created it. And two days, sometimes even 4 hours before the presentation, it's like, this is it. And it's a constant, I have to perform. I'm going to give, and I'm not going to expect anything in return. Okay. But every time, and I do this often with them, so everyone knows I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And within our sorority, we have an auxiliary, the Zeta Mikai. who are friends of Zeta. And these are women who are committed to our mission, but don't have a bachelor's degree, right? And I have grown very fond of them. And I remember the first time I was asked to speak, and it was at one of their. It was actually the Zeta Mika of Greensboro, their auxiliary retreat. And me, typical, I'm going in to perform, to speak, and that's it. I'm not looking to get anything back. Um, and it was always like, yeah, I gotta go. The day comes like, ugh, I don't feel like doing this because I'm tired, or it's a Saturday. And then I go. And of course, I'm going out of performance. And I get there and I start speaking. And if I'm not your typical facilitator. I'm really conversational, right? And in the midst, and I'll never forget, in the midst of the presentation, the conversation, it felt like I was being poured into.
Mm.
And it was a feeling that when I left, it was a feeling of, okay, God, I now understand the very thing that I did not want to do, speaking, get in front of people, because I still get nervous even to today, because it's me pouring, 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 and then I'm depleted of energy. It's more so about where you're going and who's going to be there. And God has shown me repeatedly that He's only going to place me in places where the audience, not all of them, but the audience will pour back into me what I've poured into them.
Ooh.
And so I have come to a space that I choose those opportunities very wisely through a level of discernment. Can I go and talk about strategic rest to anybody and everybody? Sure, I can, but I don't want to.
Mm.
Because I am in a season, one, it's not about the money for me. It's about the impact. It's about integrity. It's about fulfilling the joy that I get because of what God has given me to produce, right? And
Yeah.
so ever since that opportunity, that opportunity opened up a lot more presentations for the Zeta Mika and then just within my sorority as a whole, and has shaped how I show up when I do present, right? And so that's it's a foundation of why I go into spaces expecting to be poured into, regardless of who the audience is, right?
Yeah.
And so, when I think about what you just said, I don't, if I know I'm not going to receive something back, and it's not about receiving, if I know I'm not going to be poured back into, then the question becomes, okay, God, what's my real reason for wanting to go or to be there?
Mm.
And I've become very conscious of that because I know what life was like before I did that. And my thing would be, and when I was in a coaching program, I was checked on it, but the thing would be is that people drain me. And it's not that people drain me. No, because I get to dictate if they do or
Absolutely.
not. It's that I kept overworking myself performing, expecting, something back from them, from people that they weren't going to give it back, right? And so realigning my purpose, realigning why I do what I do, and knowing that it's okay if I want to go into a space to pour and want to be poured back to.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. I found that you don't owe everybody your presence. We start to think that we owe people our presence, right? And we don't. Rest is really sacred. So don't waste it on rooms that you don't, feel like you'll be poured back into. Don't waste it on rooms where you have to shrink in. And ultimately, one of the most important things that I have found, most important tools or thought processes that I've realized in my life, is that you can say no without guilt as
Mhm.
long as you say it with grace. As
Yeah.
long as you're still gracious about it, you can say no to people. And I don't understand where this thought process of not saying no to people has truly come in. We talk about this quite often, but in core strengths, one of
Mhm.
the things that you learn when you take a total SDI assessment that both Dr. K and I use with a lot of our clients, one of the many pieces you learn about yourself is how you experience conflict. And I know we talked about this before, but the reason that I'm saying this is because my first stage of conflict is assert. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. It may be laughy, it may be very sweet, but my first stage of conflict is to assert. So I always tell people, because people will go, "Oh, I don't want to put you out. I don't want to," whatever the case is. And I literally let people know I say no to anything that I truly don't want to do. Like, I do not. And it baffles me, which is why we walk in self awareness, how many people that's not their default.
Mhm.
No is not the default for people. Being able to easily say no, but graciously say no is not the default for people, and it's killing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. You can figure out through your way of experiencing conflict, because we know that there's three different blends of ways, right? Some people accommodate, some people analyze, whatever the case is. But people got to start realizing is no is an answer, number one, and no can be period. No can be powerful. No, no, no. You see how I said it so many times?
And at this point, I'm not gonna say it no more, because if you're still operating in that, because you're choosing to, right? It's not my response. I was doing a workshop, facilitated a workshop yesterday, and one of the things that I mentioned is, it's not my responsibility to help you understand.
Mm,
It is my due diligence to show you awareness. And you get to decide if you want to understand and how you understand. But I release the burden of trying to help people understand a thing.
my
So I'm
goodness.
not going to spin my wheels trying to help you understand the power of your no. I'm going to show you awareness of what that power of no can do for you. And then it's on you. Because it's enough to live my life. But to add in to live yours and help you live yours too? Oh no. No, 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 no.
You said, "Oh no, no," with that, like, no, 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 no.
That's not, but we've been so, I was I think it was last night, it just came, and I was like, we're so conditioned in so many ways by so many people to live this way, to do it that way. Someone does that, you do this. We're just so conditioned without an explanation of any of it,
Mhm.
right? Or the explanation might be that, oh, when I did this, this is what happened. But baby, my life doesn't have to mirror yours. My experiences, though, may be the same situations, but how I experience it is going to be quite different than yours. We have to learn to allow people to live their life. And our perception of whether it's good, bad, and indifferent, that's on us. But when we get caught up in prescribing what someone's life is, then we become attached to that thing rather than assigned to it.
Mm. Wait,
And like I
attached
always
versus assigned. My
and like I
goodness.
and like I always say, in that context of attachment and assignment, attachment will have you saying and doing things just to stay close to it. Assignment will say, as much as I love you, honey, we've been down like four flat tires. I can't I'm not going to keep showing up and putting you in this cycle of doing all of these things where you're finding guilt. That's not part of the assignment that I have with you. And if we have to split ways, then we got to split ways. I can love you from afar, but
Mm.
I'm no longer in a space, me personally, to attach my life and attach my anointing and attach my spaces to people and places that, one, want to stay in comfort. Two, don't even know how to show themselves grace, but at the same time trying to show everybody else grace. I don't understand that. Make it make sense. Right. And so this idea of no, or this idea of, oh, I have to do it out of obligation. No, whose obligation? Who obligated you to do that? We just make
Charles,
up rules.
is it in the room? You're like, are they in the room with us now?
We just make it, and so one of the things that when so I'm in a sorority, right? And so election times come up and you want people to run, etc. And often I always say this, I'm a very transparent person, is when you see whether it's a sorority, whether it's another type of organization, a nonprofit, a board, and you realize you have vacant spots and people don't fill them. And then there's one or two that'll fill it because out of obligation, because nobody else is running. What that got to do with you? How is that obligation? And my response to that is we're so worried about obligation and not focused on why we haven't created the space for people to want to come to run, that want to be in the positions. And so to me, that's performative, right? And so when asked to go places, etc., for me, conflict first stage is always analyzed. So I'm always asked questions of, why do you want me there? And be very honest. I want you there because people like you, and if they see you coming, they're gonna come too. Well, just tell me that. You ain't gotta say, oh, because I saw you at such and such, and just tell me why you want me to come.
You said, tell me the why. Okay, what
Tell
is
me
the
the reason.
reason?
Yeah, why am I here? I'm okay with it, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
gonna give regardless, but we are so afraid to tell people the agenda because we don't know what their response is gonna be. We're trying to control everything, and I wrote a blog about it this past week about are we so focused on controlling the narrative or disrupting the narrative? And there's a
That's the
difference.
question. And that disrupt is necessary, right? Because what I have found, and then I want to shout out some people in the comments, but what I'm going to shout out people in comments, and then I'm going to say that thing that I was about to say that popped into my mind. Hopefully it'll stay there. But I want to say good morning, Willie. Willie is always here in the comments. I always
Yeah.
see Fadarik, the love of my life is always here. And he said earlier, that's a word. We don't owe everyone our presence. And some people were tickled because you said that we've been down like 4 flats on a on a Cadillac. But Willie said that this is his favorite way to start the week, and I appreciate that so much. I'm sure there are other comments out there. Sometimes we can't see comments that don't belong to some of the spaces that
Yeah.
we share. So if I can't see your comment, I apologize for that. But don't let it stop you from dropping it in there. We always go back and interact with the folks who are here with us every morning. So
Yeah.
I had to get that out of the way. And feel free again to drop comments. Let us know where you're streaming from. We want to know because we appreciate you being here with us. But one of the things that popped into my mind when you were talking was that protecting your energy is an essential like leadership skill. It's so important. People gloss over that when you're talking about leaders. Last week I was in the classroom with kids for career day, and I think I told you that I was getting to be an author this year for the first time as what we were doing with them. But I asked them, I started out going like, what is a leader? What does a good leader do? Right, to the kids. And even at that age, at first grade and at second grade, they had an idea of what they thought good leaders did. They said good leaders listen, right? Good leaders do what they're supposed to do. Good leaders are nice to people, right? And so even when we're young, we start framing what good leadership looks like. But for some reason, one of the things that gets left out of the equation is that good leaders have boundaries, right? And that boundaries aren't barriers. They're really self-respect and understanding that not everyone deserves access to the rested you.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone deserves access to arrested you. And
Yeah.
understanding that is what will change your life.
Yeah. Access is big. Everyone, everybody wants access, but they don't know how to handle it.
They don't. I mean, we had to take a, we can click out right now for that. Everybody wants access, but they don't know how to handle it. I was talking to people about that literally this week. I was saying, and this can sound however it sounds to people. I think it was honestly, I was talking to Willie about it. And I was saying that things right now for me professionally are going well, right? I'm so grateful for it. This last 6 months has blown my mind because remember, we started this and I was like, oh, Jesus. Jesus. Okay. I was like, I cannot believe I am doing this. This is whatever the case. And here I am, not fearful of what this looks like, and just so excited about
Yeah.
the clients I have coming up, the different pieces I have coming up, the different ways I have to tell my story and to tell people and introduce them to strategic risks, right? But I remember being so worried about what that could look like. But now that people are starting to see, right, on social media that I'm here and doing all of these different pieces, people forget the parts where I'm still working incredibly hard, right? But they forget the years in which these things didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
They don't see the descent. They only see the exciting part now. And so oftentimes, especially with access, it can feel that way with people. They want access to you once you're in a place that they can't access themselves. So they
Yeah.
want to use your badge to get in.
Yeah. And in addition to that, it's whether they've been here since the beginning or just found out who you are, they want access because there's something that you have that they don't have that they want to be connected to. I'm okay with that, right? What I'm not okay is that once you've given them access, or once I've given them access, you don't know how to handle the anointing that's in your space.
Mm,
You want access to the blessings God wants to give you. But once He gives you the blessings, you don't know how to handle the blessings that have been given to you.
mm,
Because oftentimes, what has been given to us through gifts, talents for us to give back to the world, it comes with work, right?
mhm,
It comes with some types of requirements in that, right, for it to be maintained. And what I don't appreciate is folks that one know that and still go after the access. You in the space, but you put no effort. You're still the same person. You're not changing. Listen, if you come into my space, one thing for sure, two things for certain, your life will be shifted.
ooh,
And if you're not ready for your life to be shifted, don't come over here wanting access to what God has given me, the connections that I have to be in the space. It doesn't make me big or better than anybody else, but I know whose I am and
mm,
I know what He's instructed me to do. And part of that is, Kelly, when people come into your space, they don't even have to be in the room, they can be in the hallway. Their lives will be shifted. What they don't know, God has told me that long, long time ago. And it's been one of the things that I've been trying to get out of because it is a heavy lift
mm.
and people don't understand it. And so I'm not going to have just anybody surrounding me because the anointing is heavy. I didn't ask for it, but I'm thankful for it. But now that I fully understand it, I know everybody that I love, I want to help, cannot have certain accesses to me. And I have to communicate that to folks. If you're not ready to shift, don't come over here, baby.
Not He said, "You're not ready to shift. If you're not ready
Don't
to shift it in the high
don't
gear, if you ain't ready
don't
to
come over
shift,
here. If you're not
don't come
ready
over
to
here."
listen, if you still stuck up there in the 200-300 level seats at the basketball game and you're not ready to the floor, don't come over here.
Because
Mhm.
that's a shift. Okay,
That's
that's a shift in mindset. It
that's
truly is.
that's a whole different viewpoint.
Truly is.
I know what it looks like to be all the way at the top of the stands. That viewpoint is so different.
Mhm.
It's a mindset shift when you come down to the floor.
Absolutely. And
Same
it
person, but
doesn't just come from work. It also comes from understanding how to rest, right? Like where how to strategically rest. So one of the things that I want to point out to people is a question that I like to ask myself, right? Because we told y'all we're gonna give you actionable stuff here to be able to use. So one of the questions that I like to ask myself, especially when I'm figuring out whether or not I want to be in a space, right? Or whether or not it's going to be a performance in a space, is I ask myself, will I leave this space feeling seen,
mm-hmm.
safe, or spent?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. Will I leave myself? And you can ask that before, right? If somewhere you've already been, people you've already hung out with, do I leave those people feeling seen? Do I leave those people feeling safe, or do I leave those people feeling spent? Because
Yeah.
as we told you before, rest is not just taking naps. It
Right.
can also literally be because you're in community with people. There are folks that, oh man, I was so sad. Well, it worked out because, like I said, I got the opportunity to have dinner with my husband, which I appreciate. My husband, as I like to call him. I got to have dinner with him, but I was initially having dinner with a really good friend of mine, right? And up into that dinner, and folks who know me know I don't really like to go out. You know the weekend, Aaron be if I ain't gotta put no clothes on, I do this whole show in a row because I be very serious about the not need for clothes all weekend. Okay. However, because when I'm with this person, I feel both safe and seen, I was
Mm,
so looking forward to going to have dinner with her,
yeah.
right? Because of those reasons. Because
Mhm.
when I'm with her, I feel seen. When I'm with her, I feel safe, right? And we're not asking ourselves that question enough about our connections because we have told y'all time and time again, we talk about it in our book, Strategic Rest and Leadership, that literally the communities that you attach yourself to, the people that you are in community and proximity to literally are also a part of how rested you feel, how much and the way that you practice strategic rest. So are you asking yourself, are you doing an assessment, right? We talk NAP framework, a part of that is an assessment. So are you assessing those relationships that you have and asking yourself, when I am spending my energy out of my energy bank account with this person or with this group, do I feel safe? Do I feel seen? Or do I feel spent?
Yeah. I'm working on some activities for a strategic rest workshop that I'm going to do in July. And it's around what's in your cup, and it's three questions, questions, but things to consider, right? In your cup, what fills you up? Who fills you up, right? That sense of peace and joy. Also in the cup is what drains you, what's weighing you down, what's taking more than what you can give. And the last part of that is what's the overflow, right?
Mm,
When your cup runs over, not with joy, but exhaustion, what shows up, right? And getting clear on that, because something so great can still overflow into exhaustion.
absolutely.
And I think we have to be very cognitive and very clear on life happens. And as life happens, our experiences shift.
Mhm.
And as experiences shift, what's in our cups look different. And we have to be okay with that.
Absolutely. I can't believe it, but we're at 30 minutes. Every time that flies by, and it's because we're having real conversations over here. As we wrap up our time together, I want to leave you guys with one question. Where have you been trying to rest in places that actually deplete you?
Mm.
Where? Where have you been trying to rest in places that actually deplete you? I want y'all to think about that this week. Really be intentional about thinking through what that looks like, and then do some assessment, right? And then next, as a part of the framework, it's time to prioritize. But it's 30 minutes and it's time. So, hey, just a reminder, if you have not already, we still until May 15th at this point have tickets available for you to come to the Strategic Rest Summit, a one-day event that you do not want to miss on June 7th in Greensboro, North Carolina. We will be there talking about strategic rest. We will be there building community. We will be there sipping some champagne. Having a good old time, and we want you to be in that building with us. Okay, so if you haven't gotten your ticket, you can head over to thestrategicrist.com. Isn't that right, Dr. K?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Head over there, get your ticket. We have both VIP as well as standard tickets, and so we cannot wait to see you. All right, folks, that's it. Dr. K, have a wonderful week. And you guys make sure that you're making good decisions and practice strategic rest. We'll see you next Sunday, same place, same time, back here every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see you then. Take care. Bye.
Join us for an immersive experience that redefines leadership through the lens of strategic rest in Greensboro, North Carolina on June 7th, 2025. We'll see you there.